And let's take a look at this. You know what? It looks like we might be live. Let's get confirmation on our streaming software. I am seeing confirmation, but I am not seeing a preview yet. Hey, we're live. Great. Good morning. My name is Seth. You're watching Mind Your Biz, and in today's episode, we will be talking about several things. Some of them are not in the description of the video just yet. We do not have the lobby. We don't have our music in the main lobby just yet because I'm setting up on a brand new device. I went ahead and made the plunge. I tried out an Apple Silicon device, an M1 Mac Mini, because I wanted to dip my toes in the water. And, you know, so far, I've got to say I'm actually impressed. Got to give credit where it's due. I think that the ARM architecture is pretty important. I've got Raspberry Pi devices. Clearly, we all have phones in our pockets, and they use ARM processors to do things like this all the time. They've got built-in video encoders, so why not? Let's go ahead and do that. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Be sure you're subscribed. Share the link while we're live. We might have some weird technical glitches as we go live this morning. Gandalf Gray, well, I've been waiting since 3 a.m. Definitely appreciate you. Thanks so much for being here with us live. It really makes a difference. We're going to be making some adjustments to the studio and some improvements to the studio as we go. So thank you so much for your patience as we make these adjustments and these changes. Your support is, well, it's really why I make this media. So let's jump straight into the fear and greed. No, I can't jump into the fear and greed index because apparently all of my settings have gone completely amnesiac. I'm so sorry. I really thought that this would not be quite as difficult as it is. But OBS has been griefing me all morning, just straight up. That's all there is to it. But there's our fear and greed index. We got our stories that are not totally lined up on the side there. Unfortunately, let me go ahead and just kill that so we're not staring at a list that is depopulated. But right now, our fear and greed index score of 31. Let's see if I can actually go back to my regular camera. Nope, my Stream Deck doesn't want to do that either. We're just like firing on all cylinders, batting 1,000. Thanks for being here with me live, though. If there's anybody I want to share this headache with, it's you. No, I mean that. All right, jumping back into our fear and greed index. We've got score of 31. We are down from yesterday's score of 33. Let me go ahead and just be absolutely sure that we have the latest and most relevant information there. Hit that refresh button here on the fear and greed index so we can see, yep, absolutely, that's the absolute state of things. We are down from a score of 40. People got irrationally exuberant. Now, why would they do such a thing? And, you know, in my opinion, it is always a bit of the tail wagging the dog. People say that these are markets that are driven by fear and greed, but realistically, they are fear and greed driven by price. Right? And we're seeing people become price sensitive. The cost of fuel is still going up. The cost of food is still going up. The consumer price index, I don't care what the administration says, is being dominated by these things that we have to buy every single day. So, and why wouldn't they be, right? I mean, we're not always buying other products in other categories. So the consumer pricing index of other goods, not relevant. You've heard me say also that it's probably one of the best times this last year to buy tech. And apologies also if my green screen is a little bit, you know, not putting its best foot forward. That's kind of why I was late this morning. So my apologies for that as well. But the fear and greed index, I think, is more price driven than we realize. People are much more price sensitive than they admit. And yeah, I think that measured on Twitter and on Reddit, we're starting to get better analytics, to better data, I hope, too, if all this stuff from Elon Musk is to be believed. Let's take a look at our Bitcoin price, though. I think this is largely what informs it. And yep, there we go. There's the head on what I suspected would be a head and shoulders, or it's just a double top. Maybe we're completely moving down, though I see the bottom of the candle there, the daily candle there, is giving us a little bit of support. So maybe we do move back up. Maybe we see a head and shoulders. Maybe we see 3 tops here, or maybe these are our 3 tops and we're seeing the reversal pattern. Next couple of days will, I think, really lock in that trend because this is only 3 red candles. So we'll know how much deeper that red movement goes. We've certainly flipped bearish on MACD, right? The moving average convergence divergence is showing us that we are into bearish territory, just barely. There's that histogram moving bearish just a little bit. And apologies if anything, any notifications come up. I'm working on streamlining all the production from this new device. And again, I've got to say, ladies and gents, so far, so good. I'm actually not too dissatisfied with this current setup. I like it actually very much. And I've appreciated just how simple some of the OS is to use. I created this new login, and this is not part of our news segment, but just as an aside, I did the this setup for this new Apple Silicon device entirely Apple ID free, meaning that there is no telemetry being run that's associated with an Apple ID, and there is no personally identifying information that's logged in at the OS level. I basically just signed in with a password. I made a username and password for this device. And then I've made that ultra secure using best practices for a password. And every single one of the apps that I've downloaded does not use the Apple App Store, right? Doesn't use the iTunes Store. Instead, I've just used Homebrew from the terminal. A bit like how I might use another package manager on Linux for installing all the applications on Linux. And when you treat an Apple device as though it's really just got sort of those like Unix superpowers, I think it treats you just the right way back. And that's been my experience so far. I've definitely enjoyed it. And yeah, really can't complain about that for sure. I've enjoyed very much my experience going back to macOS because I think I've treated it the right way. But you tell me what you think in the chat, and we'll continue with today's content. But do you use Apple? Do you not use Apple? If so, why? If not, why not? Tell me. The Deadwood is in the chat saying, good morning, folks. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Really appreciate that. Automatic Beats says, Mac computers, yay. iPhone, boo. That's where I completely agree. I think that there's definitely a disconnect in the minds of consumers between the simplicity of that ecosystem and the security of controlling it yourself instead of them controlling your personally identifying information. iTunes, iCloud, big mistake, in my opinion. It's those cloud services where they got everybody in. And yeah, I'm breaking Mac. That's kind of the thing. I'm kind of going back to that ecosystem because I like the Bash shell, because I like the terminal environment. And now with Homebrew and Mac ports as package managers from the terminal, I feel very confident that I can set up a new device with a few shell scripts in no time, right? And maintain them far faster. People who, rely on graphical user package management and updates and stuff, boo. It's the hashtag shell life, in my opinion. That's the way to go. So I'm happy that we have some other people who feel the same way. Now, hopefully, we stop having problems with some of our other devices. I mean, I was literally just saying yesterday, I love that everything just works. Here I am this morning trying to stream. Nothing works. Gosh darn it, it's true. I've got my Stream Deck set up. It's showing me everything it's supposed to show me. It's just not working. So I don't know what gives there, but yeah, we got a little bit of an issue going on with that. Do be sure that you share the link while we are live. Every share counts. Every click counts. It makes a whole lot of difference when you participate and when you help us. It's a big deal, really. It's really a big deal. As far as discoverability in the YouTube algorithm, it helps us out tremendously when you're able to promote this media while we're live. So thank you so much for your ongoing support. It means the world. No, I've been kind of sitting here chatting at you for a minute. Let's take a look at those charts again. This is our current trend, though. We've had that the ascending wedge that we identified the last time that I moved the chopsticks. And I mentioned that I thought we were in kind of lined up for a reversal, a couple of red candle days coming up, but that's because, we're already looking at the value buy range here. If you're just tuning in and you're not familiar with what we have identified here as our little value buy range, it is all of this stuff down here, right? That blue area there. On the daily chart over on TradingView, this is just the free tools. You got RSI, MACD, and then some simple lines drawn here and some simple boxes showing some ranges that we're comfortable DCAing. Now, I would be comfortable DCAing here if I'm looking at a long-term HODL strategy. I think most people will be as well. So let's take a look at the cost to mine one full Bitcoin. This is one of the best possible strategies, in my opinion, to be able to dollar cost average very effectively into your Bitcoin position or into any other crypto position by obtaining the crypto inexpensively and then flipping it into the asset that you choose. And I'm not going to tell you what you should like or what you shouldn't like. I've already talked about the Fear and Greed Index, and I think it's a counterindicator. Have I red screened you lately? I should. You are responsible. You're the guy. You're the gal. And I don't make decisions for you, and I am not your advisor. You haven't paid me as a consultant. We have no contract, formal or otherwise. And this is just meant to be for your enjoyment, right? Your entertainment and your education. So just please frame it as such, right? Just think about it that way. But the cost to mine one full Bitcoin, if we take a look at top of the line hardware, 140 terahash, let's put it about 3.5 kilowatts, and let's give you 8-cent power with a 1% pool fee. These are very typical options, and that's going to put you into profitability to the tune of buying one full Bitcoin or producing one full Bitcoin at about $14.1 thousand. I think that's pretty good money right there. And I apologize. Speaking of all the stuff that has not quite gone right for today's live stream, we're still working out some of the kinks on this new system. I do not have Mrs. Mind Your Biz's mic enabled yet, mostly because it's plugged in, and OBS is like, you know what? I don't like having Mrs. Mind Your Biz have a microphone, but you know what? We're changing that right now. I'm adding the ATR source right now. We're doing it live. Gosh darn it, we're doing it live. Mrs. Mind Your Biz, you mind saying hello?
Good morning.
All right, so there we are. No compression, no noise reduction, nothing applied at all. We're going to do that live too. Give a little bit of noise suppression so we don't have a problem over there. And we're going to give Mrs. Mind Your Biz a little bit of a, there we go, an EQ lift, add the TDR Nova, and we're going to give her a little bit of a compressor so we kind of have a nice soft roll off. Go ahead and say hello to the boys and girls.
Hello, hello.
All right, there we go. Nice and gentle roll off for that microphone as well. We did it, fam. We did it. We got him.
It's the Mind Your Biz How It Works episode.
Yeah, basically. How it works. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about how it works.
They're watching your process. It's great.
Well, thank you. Yeah. So let me make sure that her mic is available over on our other scenes, because here's the other thing. It just doesn't always work. There we go. And now we've got Mrs. Mind Your Biz available to chat to y'all when we are on other scenes. And red screen you twice. Don't always do it, but today we're going to, because we've got to add Mrs. Mind Your Biz. Want to say hello? Tell them this is not financial advice.
You are responsible for your own decisions. This media is not intending as financial or investing advice. Do your own research or get wrecked.
There you go.
Research.
Research. Do your research.
Research.
Or get wrecked, infidel. All right, so, sorry, I totally went a different direction with that accent. But cost to mine one full Bitcoin, locked in right there. And the efficiency, as you see right there, 25 joules per terahash. This is a number that you can kind of tank to the bank, so be aware of that. GPU mining profitability, we got the lineup here. It didn't seem to go anywhere. My browser seemed to remember its state very well, so thank you, Mac Mini, for not completely crapping the bed everywhere. But the RTX 4090 is the only thing that's in the money at a profitability or a break-even point of almost 4,000 days. Yikes. No thanks. Plus, 1,500, those aren't real numbers. You're not going to find this GPU at that price. Mrs. Mind Your Biz, this is why we don't have any of these yet. I'm not going to pay that rate for that device in these market conditions. Plus,
You're not?
I'm not. And the RTX 3090 has gone up in price. It was actually lower before the launch of this new device. Markets do weird things. Markets are irrational because people are irrational. And, you got to keep your head. Even if your green screen is trying to chop your head off, you got to keep your head. But let's jump back in, take a look at the rest of our lineup. What is actually profitable to mine? Well, it looks like we've got ALF. ALF. What is ALF? It's Alephium. And shout out to the homie Serpent X Tech, Vega from Serpent X Tech. Apparently, Alephium can be dual mined with ETC. Check your options and possible results. The algorithm is Blake 3. And if you're familiar with Blake 3, yes, it is one of those that can be dual mined with the ETH hash algorithm. So that's kind of cool. What will it do to your profitability? Frankly, it'll probably tank your profitability. So I wouldn't take that too seriously. The idea of getting maybe a tiny bit of Ethereum Classic while you're mining your Alephium, sure, consider it. But in the current market environment, I mean, we see that's practically the only GPU profile that is profitable for Blake 3 anyway. So why would you get a $1,500 but street price $2,000, right? $2,200 GPU to try to get 38 cents a day? You wouldn't. It's just that simple. You wouldn't do that. You might run it at work, but I'm not going to tell you to run that risk. It's always a huge risk. So don't do that. Looks like the RTX 2080 Ti is also breaking even on its current daily profitability. So something to consider there. These are the kinds of efficiencies that let us know that something might have legs for the long haul. This might be one of those GPUs that you identify as a good acquisition target when its price finally comes down to within reason. Its break-even point is, only 81,000 days. But, that's based on its current profitability of 1 cent per day. Don't worry about that. Do think about what's efficient right now, and then try to figure out what you want to acquire. The 2080 is almost a million days. No, I'm sorry. I lied. It is almost 85 or 8.5 million days because it's, 0. But don't be deterred by that. Do pay attention to what actually is profitable right now and what is actually doing well right now. It may maintain that profitability. However, right now, buying hardware is just as much speculation as trying to find speculative altcoins to mine. So be very, very aware of your own calculations. I am not releasing an update to my mining profitability calculator spreadsheet as I've done in years past. Unless, of course, I do. And if I do, this is Mind Your Biz. That might only be on our private newsletter, or it might only be on Patreon. It will be pay to play. I can tell you that. And maybe that price is just an email away. So do be sure that you share the link and you let people who you like know what we're doing here. All right. Scrolling on down. And here's the thing. It's not rocket science, ladies and gentlemen, but it is something that takes my time. And so I need to be sure that my time is protected. Mrs. Mind Your Biz, I've got tons of free time, right?
That's a joke, right?
Like tons of free time. I've always got free time to do a ton of favors for everybody who asks, right? I mean, you can tell by the laugh. It's true. Tons of free time, ladies and gents. So obviously I can just always do stuff for free. txstreet.com is going to give us a little bit of market truth right now. This will be fun. And this is our favorite website, right?
I love this one.
For visualizing all the stuff and the way that we have our current, let me just double check to be absolutely sure. Yeah, we've got our current screen set up for streaming. We've got just a little bit going on there. I hope this static background is good enough right now, ladies and gents. Solar background. We will improve the green screen situation, and I'll be swapping out cameras very, very soon. So don't you worry about that. But I hope that the backgrounds are to your liking. Oh, come on. Stream Deck. Why are you killing me like this? Because you're killing me. You got to know this, Stream Deck. Stop killing me. Can we do this? No. Still no response. Man, this is one of the things that I got the Mac Mini for. This is one of the things that I went back to Mac OS for, was that it's like, all right, driver support for things like a Stream Deck. Alas, it is not to be. Not for today. But txstreet.com is showing us the median contract fee, transfer fee, and gas price. Things are up right now. It's a bad gas day. Ethereum's having a bad gas day. If you just want to send Ether, it's $3.71 and almost $20 to execute a contract. Over on Bitcoin, in the meantime, it's almost 65 cents. At 62 cents just to transfer some Bitcoin, basically. Now, what could be leading to this, do you think, Mrs. Mind Your Biz? What market conditions could be forcing high prices for transfers?
Oh, everything's dumping right now.
Dumping, you say?
Is that the right term?
Yeah, dumping. But that's a good way of interpreting that.
The market is tanking. It's a bad morning for the crypto market.
It is. It's a bad morning for the crypto market. I totally agree, and I'm so glad that we have your mic going. Mrs. Mind Your Biz, I love hearing your voice. Do you guys love hearing Mrs. Mind Your Biz's voice? Because I love hearing Mrs. Mind Your Biz's voice. So thumbs up if you like to hear Mrs. Mind Your Biz, because I think that she is a great co-host, my favorite ever, the best. It's so great. You're the best. The best around. All right, so let's see. Low fee line. Oh, and we've got a backup. See the visualization there is 65 cents on Bitcoin, and the low fee line is growing. Over 5,000 transactions stuck in the Bitcoin mem pool, it's called. Isn't that weird? We'll just call it the Mimi pool, just in honor of Mrs. Mind Your Biz. in the low fee line, in the mem pool. So, yep, all these folks backed up, just waiting for low fees, hoping to get that 2 Satoshi per V-byte block to fill up, or a 1 Satoshi per V-byte block. Alas, it is not to be. Those transaction fees are crawling upwards real time as we live stream right now, and we are going to get to the bottom of it. Let's take a look at our news cycle, though. I think it's going to help us understand what's going on. FTX is halting user withdrawals temporarily. They say it's temporarily.
Why would they do that?
It's a great question. Well, I think there's been a little bit of a somewhat public beef between Sam Bankman-Fried and the infamous CZ. No, I'm not talking about cubic zirconia. No, I'm not talking about chunky zebras. I could be. I mean, this is crypto. These could both be projects. I'm talking about Changpeng Zhao. I think that's actually how you pronounce his name.
Of course it is.
Changpeng Zhao.
You're absolutely right.
Hello, Chairman Zhao. Is this name going to stick? Yes, his name is Chairman Zhao. He's actually a pretty cool dude. Based on all the media you can find of him, based on what he has actually built in the space, the Deadwood is listening to us as you drive. Thanks so much. Appreciate you guys sharing the link as we are live. Much appreciated, especially if you are on Reddit or Twitter. That helps us out so much if you can share us on Reddit and Twitter. Much appreciated. But, Automatic Beats says that Mrs. Mind Your Business voice is like audible chocolate. There you go.
Thank you.
There you go. All right. So.
Chunky Zebra is my stripper name. That's
well,
great.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. Again, I apologize. Didn't mean to dox you, Automatic Beats. But, again, this is
Look what
crypto.
you did.
It's only a matter of time, right? That's why it's better to just come clean in these markets, right? Because eventually somebody will put in the effort to dox you anyway. There you go. I did you a favor? Secretly? No. I'm trying to justify my bad behavior. There's really no justification. But CZ and Sam Bankman-Fried, CZ and SBF are beefing. They've got this big problem. And the problem is that people have made rumors about the solvency of FTX, the exchange that Sam Bankman-Fried runs. And that has led the Binance risk assessment team, right, the risk mitigation team, to recommend that they begin to make withdrawals. And then CZ went public saying, hey, we want to limit the amount of damage we could do to FTX, so we're going to roll out our withdrawals over time. And SBF responded by saying, oh yeah, you want to fight dirty? Well, I'm going to fight dirty too. Pay attention to the price of BNB. Watch what we do to your coin, your governance coin. And yeah, it's gotten very, very public.
It's like fight.
But beyond that, it's like the bigger issue is that when there are rumors about your exchange going insolvent, right, and not having all of the funds that you say it has, and then you talk like that publicly, what are you doing? Are you helping to dispel the rumors?
Is that where it started though, with insolvency, or was it? I thought it had more to do with an argument about SBF. What are his acronym initials?
We'll just call him Sammy.
Sammy was doing some very unfriendly. It seemed like CZ took umbrage with Sammy because he was doing some things that were very unfriendly to decentralization. Am I wrong?
Well,
that's what I thought I was reading between the lines, but maybe.
Yeah. I mean, kind of. Yes, there's a little bit. I don't think it's ever quite that simple, right? So there is a little bit of there's a little bit of gosh darn it, why can I not think?
You need more caffeine.
I probably do. Is that crazy? I'm caffeinated enough to to wake up an entire gaggle of geese, an entire flock of mice, an entire herd of cockroaches.
If you were in
I've
a
got
horse
that
race,
much caffeine in my bloodstream
you'd
right
be
now.
beating Seabiscuit and Secretariat right now, right?
I would
Yeah.
be. Yeah, I'd be racing them on foot, like a, you know.
And yet,
Yeah,
you can't think of the word.
I really can't. I still can't. It's a problem. I've gone 0 to geriatric in the last 48 hours. And you know what it is? It's this gosh darn Mac Mini that I've been trying to set up. It's
It's the Mac's fault.
yeah, right? Pretty much. It's like, I've just sucked one day of your life away. So yeah, I've anyway, unfortunately, we're stuck
So circling back. CZ and Sammy and the dumping of FTX, right? Because I guess, was it Binance dumped all their FTT?
They have not dumped all their FTT. That's just it. They have talked publicly. CZ has talked publicly about slowly making withdrawals of their holdings from FTX and then slowly divesting themselves of their FTT. Now, maybe they did dump quite a bit of their FTT initially, but the point is that at this point, like, Sam Bankman-Fried acted all defensive and thin-skinned and butthurt, and that was confirmation enough, social confirmation enough, that people saw the fear in his eyes, and now there has been a run on FTX. And now they've had to stop processing withdrawals on the Ethereum network.
Because it was down by almost, 30%?
Well, let's do ourselves a favor. Take a look at the portfolios here on CoinGecko. CoinGecko, you guys love to just like hold on to your holiday themed artwork just a little bit too long. Just word to our Malaysian friends, our Malaysian brothers from another mother. Halloween's over. We don't celebrate it past the date. So anyway, oh, you know what? I just haven't refreshed the page. Look at that. All right, let's take a look at FTT. And being a top 50 coin, we would notice, yep, 20% down. That is dumpage and wreckage if ever I saw it. Just mind you, look at that. Steady Eddie. Like a rock. And then boom.
Pew!
Look at that volume there as well. We were doing about 150 million or so, almost 200 million on average daily, up to over $1 billion that's being traded right now. There, you got people who are doing high frequency trades who've been propping up that price after the initial signs of any kind of a problem, and now it's just undeniable. There's a certain point at which that level of sell pressure just begins to take its toll on an asset. And this is just me. You didn't hear it from Mind Your Biz, but is it possible we're going to see this in housing and in the stock market soon?
Probably yes. Probably it will happen.
Yeah, thank you. Is that our cheap shot at our Southeast Asian brothers and sisters? Maybe, probably, we're not Filipino, even though the last name is Estrada. So anyway, yes, you're right. I think that you're right, and that we will see a bit of this in other markets too. I think this is really a sign of things to come. I think people are extremely price sensitive, and I think that anybody who doesn't see the writing on the wall, we're getting warning shots. And this is one of those warning shots. So we pay attention to it and we do the right thing, or we ignore it and we wonder why our savings is all gone when everything starts to do that. So I know I'm being kind of doomer gloomer right now at Mind Your Biz, but you know, you're welcome. This is what you come here for. I'm going to log into Twitter as well and make sure that I have our stuff sent from Twitter, because my Stream Deck won't do it for me. Thank you very much, Stream Deck. You are amazing. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. But yeah, I got an issue. That is not having set up my tweets in advance. Also very, very sleep deprived from writing some articles and prepping some content and preparing some media for an upcoming launch of an NFT.
And watching a marginally good, okay horror movie.
Yeah, it was. It was a
That's
marginally
really
good,
what
okay horror movie.
Extra late.
You know, marginally good, okay horror movies
We
are...
could have gone to bed, and we didn't, and now we're paying for it.
It's true. Geez, the amount of sleep lost to streaming media. These SOBs, these poor, depraved people. Why do we let them into our lives like this? These jerks. Oh, by the way, it's election day. Did you know that?
Yep.
You did?
I told you.
That's not true.
That was the first thing I said to you this morning. Mention election day.
Oh, prove it. All right. So it is election day. But y'all already knew that. Mrs. Mind Your Biz knew that. I'm just saying that it's important for us to acknowledge that it's election day. And I appreciate that you're finally starting to take this seriously, Mrs. Mind Your Biz.
Go vote.
Yeah. So you can vote if you want to.
If you're registered.
Yeah. I mean, some people have differing views on whether or not there's any real utility to actually voting, or if it is, just going through the motions. You decide. And you tell me in the chat, what do you think? 360-degree markets. Boom. And we'll go ahead and add that over on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, your support would be so appreciated over there as well. Now, let me get my crappy green screen looking face off of the screen there and take a look at our chart again. FTX, yep, absolutely getting
wrecked.
Yeah, pretty much. See some other news related to it. Looks like FTT tanks 28%, so it's a slight bit of recovery. We've noticed that. As FTX Exchange struggles to process withdrawals. All of this is fresh from this morning. So the key takeaways are what, Mrs. Mind Your Biz? Critical support at $21.
Oh, okay. There we go.
It's okay. But we talked about some of the
Can I just read that and then I'll sound like I know what I'm talking about?
Well, they're reading it at the same time. They're already ahead of you. It's okay.
All right.
But apparently, now it's a run on this asset because people have lost their confidence in it. It's really as simple as that. And people who think that crypto is immune to this just haven't been around long enough to know.
Yeah, I think I saw a headline this morning that said, "Is FTT the next Luna?" Oh,
that's going a little too far, I think, as far as the run and what it could do to this asset, because it doesn't have the same tokenomic problems where Luna could be exchanged for a stablecoin and it had a really bad arbitrage mechanism in a smart contract. So you add this sentiment to something like Luna, and things go really bad, as we saw. I don't think it's going to be that bad for the FTT token, but I do think that FTX, we might be seeing the beginning of the end. It really could be that simple, that we might be seeing the beginning of the end of FTX as a centralized exchange. For my part, I feel just fine. Our portfolio is not over there. We're not on centralized exchanges. And Mind Your Biz community, we practice what I preach on this show. You should be off exchanges, not your keys, not your coins. Those aren't just cute words to say. You see exactly why we say that. You cannot afford to let, I'll use BitBoy's language. You cannot afford to let these devils have your crypto, right? If we don't want to let the bankers control the crypto policy and what's happening in regulation, we sure as heck don't want these centralized exchanges to hold on to all of our coins and tell us whether or not we can even use them.
Kind of defeats the whole point of crypto.
Exactly. It's like saying, you know what? You can absolutely be free. Just put on these handcuffs. What? Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Right? Or going into a billiard parlor. It's like, this is the best billiard parlor ever. Just wear handcuffs. So anyway, lowest level since 2021. So if you're a long-term hodler, you're not going to be hurting. Let's go back to that 1 year right here. Oh, I lied. When things were irrational, of course, it was irrationally high as well. But apparently they're talking about the start of 2021, and then it's nope. Yeah, no, it's quite low. We are definitely start of 2021 territory, pre-bull run territory for FTX and the FTT token. But of course, prior to that point, FTX was not. It just was not in the same category, right? A couple bucks, and now moving up to double digits. I don't know. Will we see it back into single-digit dollars again? I'm not going to make a prediction there, but I am going to say that this is going to definitely damage the reputation of it. Yeah, it's a little bit rough. CZ over at Binance has said, "Oh no, I'm sorry. This is a different one. This is Stephen Zhang. I apologize. I misattributed that." But apparently, Stephen of Doge Toshi has given his TLDR on what to do. It's only movements to approve tokens. No panic. Get clout. There you go. Panic. All right. So there's a little bit of a shifting narrative regarding all of this right now. But the problem is that FTX is definitely shutting down withdrawals. And that's definitely going to have a negative effect on their reputation moving forward. So I would personally slowly but surely remove anything that you have from this exchange. But I don't want you to have any of your coins on any exchange. So BitDAO, in related news, expects Alameda of dumping BIT tokens and asks them for proof of funds. So yeah, apparently they transferred over 100 million BIT tokens from FTX to Alameda to prove that they did have some funds. Now, does that prove that they have all of the funds that they're supposed to have? Well, they published a proposal and offered BitDAO to swap those 100 million BIT tokens for 3,300 or so FTT tokens and make a public commitment not to sell each other's token for 3 years. The proposal was open for voting between October 20th and October 30th, passed with 100% of votes of the participants in favor. Swap already took place, and then at any rate, both BIT and FTT are dropping at about the same time. They are now correlated assets. So on the one hand, great for them to show that act of good faith. On the other hand, ouch, you have hitched your wagon to the star of FTX, and yeah, you're going to pay the price for choosing the wrong thing to hitch your wagon to. So Bitcoin also, as we've noticed, it's been moving downward, but I don't think it's correlated to this relatively little beef between these two public figures in the crypto markets. I think that this is entirely something else, what we're seeing over in Bitcoin's price. And we're seeing real time that the daily candle that we may not close at a red candle here. Like we're seeing that the size of this candle is shrinking into more of a tomahawk. So we may be seeing a reversal already by tomorrow. And we may see that triple top, or we may see that head and shoulders kind of firm up here in this little formation. See a little bounce. You could say that this is already a triple top right there, but I don't see it that way. And we hadn't drawn this line. There we go. Really? Apparently we don't get to adjust our chopsticks on this device either. Oh, the joys. I'm just absolutely loving this, ladies and gentlemen. This has been, I was just bragging about how awesome this is, and here we go. All right. But last bit of news about FTX is, just that beef. And apparently these guys at the block want us to believe that Bitcoin's price has anything to do with it. I disagree. We got news about Elon Musk. What is it, Mrs. Mind Your Biz?
Elon Musk tells his 114 million Twitter followers to vote for Republicans. How this affects crypto.
Wow. So voting for Republicans, how would that affect crypto in your mind? Let's go ahead and skip their professional commentary on all of that. What do you think? Does this affect crypto at all?
I guess it depends on the Republican platform with regulation.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. Well, what if anything do you think that means right now? Based on where you are, you said it's voting day and you want to vote. Is this an issue that you want to vote on?
Well, here in this house, yes.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about that. As far as there being anything that's worth voting on right now by way of regulation, I don't think anyone has proposed anything that I feel strongly enough about to give them my vote. That's my take on it. And I know that the BitBoy crypto channel, I know that Ben is working on some regulation, trying to get a bipartisan little coalition going. And while I trust Ben for certain things, and I respect him very much, we disagree on other things. And this is one of those things. I just don't know that any of the current proposed regulation is quite favorable enough. Hopefully what he's been working on is well thought out enough that it actually matters. But as it's a bipartisan thing, it really shouldn't matter who is in office in order for the regulation to move forward.
Right. It's tricky. I mean, if I'm Elon Musk, why am I asking people to vote Republican? And I'm thinking completely of myself. It's, because that's like a better tax advantage for me, Yeah. That might be the only motivation there.
There you go.
Who knows?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that when we have to consider the source, and when it comes from Elon Musk, that it really does have to do more with creating a more favorable tax environment for his business interests. Now, that said, if you're a small business owner, or if you're interested in digital marketing or digital businesses, then you may be totally aligned with that and saying, all right, well, independent of the crypto markets, how do I want business to be shaped for myself in the future? And I don't know. Maybe that is something to consider with what he's saying there. But I'm just so disenchanted with both of the parties. I just don't. I don't like either of them, and I don't like their little pet causes, their little pet issues that they bring up.
I don't like how our bipartisan politics divide all of us. I mean, it just seems like one big game to keep the American people divided, so that we don't unite for our our own freedom, like collectively.
Yes, totally agreed there. Because they've got us so busy fighting over all the pet hot button issues instead of things that actually matter.
Well, I mean, there was a quote recently by, I think it was, oh gosh, a punk singer. I can't remember exactly, but he was talking about how he never thought he'd see the day when the Democrats were all lockstep with institutionalism, and it was the Republicans who were like the rebels giving the finger to the government. We're living in strange times right now, politically.
Yeah, absolutely.
And have
Couldn't agree
been,
more.
for the last, 6 years.
Yeah, it's been very, very strange times. And I mean, it's not the first time we've seen a public figure who was on whatever, like came from business or from Hollywood or from TV or pop culture.
I don't think we've ever seen anything the likes of Trump, though.
No,
in American politics. That was just different.
Right. Yeah, no, totally agreed. So we'll see. Tell me, dear audience, what do you think? Does it even matter who you vote for as it relates to crypto regulation? Or are all of them just saying whatever it takes to be reelected?
But you have to realize that anytime you're talking about any politician, you're talking to a snake, and it's not about whether or not they're a good guy and trustworthy. There's a small handful that are, but by and large, you just have to take for granted that you're dealing with a sociopath, and you just have to think about how you can control them. What motivates them and controls them, and how do you use that for your best interest? Like, the people need to think that way about their leadership, their politicians. Not like, oh, he's such a good guy, she's so great. No, they're all sociopaths. They don't care about us. They care about power, and you need to keep your eye on that and keep them in check. That's our job.
Yeah, 100% agreed. Both high power business and high power politics, it self-selects for a high degree of sociopathy. People who are people who are well-adjusted socially, but just enough to control others.
That's my political rant for election day.
All right, there you go. Yeah, so vote anyway. I don't know. I'm kind of on the other side of the spectrum at this point, where I'm like, okay, does it really matter who you vote for? Also, because it self-selects for a sociopath. No matter who you put in office, you have probably chosen a sociopath.
Or is that what they want you to think?
I don't think their psyop goes that far. That's the other thing.
You don't?
I really don't. I don't think their psyop goes quite that far. But I will say that right now, when it comes to the Democrat Party, that you've got characters like Trevor Noah that have been talking about, oh, does your vote really matter? And so they are running a psyop there, but their messaging is not very clear, where they've been saying like, well, get out and vote. But also, does it really matter who you vote for anyway? They're trying to play both sides of that game to see if they can get mail-in ballots, because they know their people will be motivated by mail-in ballots. So it's just, the whole situation is just crazy. How can they, like, beyond trying to convince people that their party is not full of sociopaths, they're also trying to steal the vote all over again. Now, am I going to get canceled for saying that? Is my live stream going to get shut down?
Maybe.
I hate that. I hate the way the world has become. But the vote is, and everyone's it's a false flag. Well, they're trying to steal the vote. Yeah, we didn't actually steal the vote last time, but they're going to try to steal it. It's crazy. The whole thing is just crazy. It's theater in my mind. On some level, it's theater, right? Like, well, does your vote really even matter? Well, it kind of does. If you have all these mail-in ballots that come from nowhere, from dead people and double counted, and from illegal immigrants, and like from all these other things
that have
been proven.
A friend of mine just voted the other day. I think she did a mail-in ballot or something, but she's like, I have officially voted twice, meaning like her name had already come up twice. Like she had already quote unquote voted before she voted.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You got other people who are doing mail-in ballots on your behalf, absentee ballots on your behalf, and that you may not even be aware of. I mean, voter fraud is so plainly obvious. It's so obvious that we are dealing with voter fraud right now. Like, that's the other side of this whole issue. And it bothers me to deal with any politician saying like, no, it's okay. I'm a friend of crypto. What? And? So? Yeah, you're a friend of crypto because you think that you're going to be able to track us in order to force us to pay taxes. Speaking of which, we might have a story about that. Maybe. Maybe. Should we jump ahead to that? Maybe.
Do we usually get this political on your channel, hun?
It's time. It's about time that we did. It's election day.
Oh,
Let's do it.
Goody, look at this headline.
Yeah, right? Here we go. Oh, and she's like, no touch crypto. Isn't that I think this is a great visual. All right, so what do we got here at the Daily Hodl?
IRS building hundreds of crypto tax evasion cases, says agency's criminal chief.
Yeah, so they say the agency is reportedly building hundreds of crypto tax evasion cases, according to a new report by Bloomberg IRS criminal head Jim Lee. Wait a second. Jim Lee, that's the name of a famous Marvel artist. Says that the agency's criminal investigation, I wonder if it's the same guy. It's got to be the same guy. There's no other way it could be. Jim Lee, that's too rare a name. He says the agency's criminal investigation unit is probing cases where people are not reporting instances of exchanging crypto to fiat or receiving payments in digital assets. Lee says that he's been seen a shift during the last 3 years in terms of investigating digital assets. He highlights that previously, most crypto cases the IRS looked into involved money laundering, but now tax-related crimes are taking up 50% of the pile.
Crimes,
Crimes.
because like the laws haven't existed yet to make it a crime, so let's make the laws to make it a crime.
Right. Yeah, and there hasn't been regulatory clarity. Now, in terms of the IRS and their mission and what they're supposed to be doing, it is fairly clear. It is somewhat clear that if you're receiving cryptocurrency as regular income, then their job is to try to seek that from you. Now, whether or not you want to get into a debate about the constitutionality of federal income tax, I didn't say state, federal income tax, that's up to you, dear Mind Your Biz audience. I'm not going to go there, but I did bring it up. So you can tell me in the chat if you think that's something worth debating, if that's something worth talking to some experts about, and potentially getting some additional clarity.
I've been watching the commentary here.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's get some
about?
comments going. Like, go ahead and read some comments for us while I pin back some cables that are getting in my way here.
Okay, here's a good. The Rottweilers are happy girls out. Okay, I missed
Good.
it. Where'd it go? Okay, out running in the park. Vote and have a great day, citizens.
Well, have a great day, citizen. I appreciate that. Actually, you said that like a superhero, and I love you for it. Thanks, man. What else we got?
Let's see. CoinMarketCap breaking news saying BNB to acquire FTX. Ooh.
Oh, seriously? Acquiring FTX? Who? Yeah. Automatic Beat says CoinMarketCap is breaking news saying BNB to acquire FTX. Wow. That seems pretty cutthroat, but it seems on brand. Let's go ahead and see if we can find something about it. CoinMarketCap news, BNB. Let's take a look. Use that as our search terms over. And I don't see that just yet. CoinMarketCap on their news, but let's see if we can find anything. Alrighty, what do we got on publish? Nothing is going on over there. Let me see if I can guess. There we go. Dark mode. I don't often use CoinMarketCap. It is not my preferred market intelligence site. I much prefer CoinGecko and Nomics in that order. But let's take a quick look at, gosh darn it, where the heck is their news feeds and articles? Take a look at articles right now. Well, I'm not seeing anything. Not seeing anything that indicates that is going to happen.
Maybe he could post a link in the comments.
Well, you'd have to post it without the .com because the comments don't allow for links because we've had so many scams and so many spammers in the past. It's not personal, but because nobody here in the Mind Your Biz community would do that. But that's also why occasionally we get harmed by the algorithm. We don't suffer fools or scammers, generally speaking. I mean, we act a fool here on the channel. Let's be very real.
Deadwood said something. I no longer feel our options are true. The choices we have are preset. 1 and 2 were chosen by someone, but not U.S. Agreed.
Yep. And the POTUS prior to Trump was, man, am I even going to get like harmed by YouTube for saying his name? But the POTUS prior to Trump came out of nowhere. If you remember when that person was elected in 2008,
that was weird.
It was very, very weird. It was like,
it was just like, wait, who is this person? What is his record? And you look it up. It's like, it's all like present. There's no yay or nay in his voting record.
Right.
And who, like, did I even know this person's name before 3 weeks ago? But brilliant marketing. I remember you talking about the campaign logo and how powerful it was. And I will note that at the time, Ron Paul was really like coming up in popularity and kind of surging. And I like an inner conspiracy theorist is like, yeah, there was something to that. Anyway, we're getting too political this morning. Sorry, honey.
No, it's totally okay. It's totally appropriate.
It's
We
my
totally
fault.
need to do this. No, it's not your fault. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Everyone's like, I just want to talk about mining.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. And we can do that. We can definitely do that, and we will do that. But I mean, y'all tell me what you're mining in the comment section. If you're mining anything that is that's not profitable, then clearly you're doing it because you have a long-term speculative play. But if you want to tell me what you're mining in the chat, go ahead and do that, and we'll discuss that as we go over portfolios, which we'll do very, very soon. I don't see that news article over here on CoinMarketCap. I'm going to close that window down, go back over to this news article here. But yeah, telling us that you're doing all the crimes, you're doing all the IRS crimes, you're doing all the tax crimes.
They're coming.
You crypto people, and it's like, well, okay, what did we expect when they asked about digital assets 2019 and 2020? What did you expect? Right? That was opt-in information. That was absolutely optional information where they just asked you, hey, did you do this thing? Well, it really depends on how you want to count those things. And it really depends on whether or not you believe that you, being the person who knows a couple of seed phrase words or has temporary access to a private key, whether or not it's actually yours or whether or not that's ephemeral information that could pass into the possession of somebody else. Doesn't it? Not your keys, not your coins.
Are we seeing the end game?
I don't know that we're seeing the end game yet. And it depends on what you're asking about. The end of government as we know it or the end of the crypto scene as we know it. Because I do think that's
the battle. That's where we are. But
battle lines are being drawn.
Yeah, it's heating up.
Yeah, 100%. Now, do I think that various federal agencies should be abolished because they serve no real purpose and all they do is act as fundraising? Just to increase the size of that government?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe that's what I'm saying. Maybe we're a little too top heavy.
We need to use the word maybe a lot, don't we?
Maybe,
yes,
probably,
maybe.
yeah. Maybe, probably we have too much tax. Maybe, probably this institution only exists to serve itself. Okay, moving on. Royalty enforcing NFTs are a new asset class. Who said that?
Magic Eden CEO?
Yeah, Magic Eden CEO. But
who's that?
A guy by the name of Jack Liu. You know Jack? Yeah, you know Jack. He's the
I
CEO.
know Jack.
Yeah. Wait, are you saying you don't know Jack?
I don't know Jack.
Oh, no. All right. I'm a little worried. She was being, facetious there, and I got very concerned. But the Solana-based non-fungible token marketplace, Magic Eden. That's why you haven't heard of it much, is because we do not trade anything on Solana, because Solana is a den of vipers. It's extremely dangerous as networks go. Hey, you know who runs Solana? You know who basically bootstraps Solana?
Nope.
Alameda Research and FTX.
Oh my goodness.
Now you know. All right. Now you know why I don't trust it. And I haven't since for quite some time. But he said that these NFTs could give rise to a new asset class as the space grapples with the debate around opt-in royalties. Now, there have been some issues with certain NFT platforms that have stripped away the royalties and said, well, we think it's up to the buyers whether or not they want to pay a royalty. That's only fair. That's like saying that, when you go out to a restaurant that, you're never forced to pay a gratuity, but if you don't pay a gratuity and your server is earning $2 an hour, and because that's legal in the state where you live, there's no two ways about it. You're an a-hole. You're a jerk. You're human scum if you don't pay the people who serve you a living wage. And in the case of hospitality, you're the person paying that, in my opinion. It's not a royalty, though. That's the thing. When they go home and you've finished eating, they don't go to your house and show up and be like, well, you know how you paid me 15% at dinner tonight? I really need another 5% now. That doesn't happen. It's not the same thing. With artists, it's an ongoing royalty every time it's resold. I think of that 15% gratuity that you pay to a server, but every time you resell an NFT, that 15% is paid again to the creator. Some people think that they shouldn't be paid that when you initially sell the artwork, that's enough. One and done.
Art should be free and the artist should starve.
Right? It's only fair. You want more? You want to be paid more royalties? this is actually a debate. I don't understand it because, we both have some experience with the arts, and this is a long-standing business practice in the arts.
For good reason. We're talking about a volatile industry where there is enough like uncertainty that if you don't have, some form of passive income coming from like your, quote unquote hit, the one piece of art you put out that makes some money that like hits the market and has anything coming in, you need those royalties. You do. It's really important. And then some people like really, really benefit from that. That's just how markets work. That's what the Pareto distribution, right?
Yeah.
But
that's part of living in a free country where you have opportunity to get ahead.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, for artists, like art isn't just about, oh, they're so talented. It must be so nice to wake up one day and just be so talented that you can go and like make money from it. No. Artists have to work really, really hard to maybe be lucky enough to earn money from their art. Ergo, royalties are very, very important for people who give you all the beautiful things that you enjoy.
Yes, that was so succinctly put. Vampire is in the chat saying, who's the girl? That's a great question. The girl is Mrs. Mind Your Biz. Do you want to say hello to Vampire?
Hi, Vampire. How you doing?
All right. Vampire, I don't know, but I've heard it on good authority that you suck. Blood, that is. All right, so let's get back into our main content. Royalty enforcing NFTs, new asset class, he says. Well, I don't know, maybe. Here's the thing. Art and fine art especially, that is kind of its own somewhat unique asset class as it comes to investing and as it comes to collecting. So I know the IRS and the SEC view fine art as its own kind of special case, right? Because it is speculative. It does go up in value. And here's an interesting little factoid, Mrs. Mind Your Biz and Mind Your Biz audience. Apparently, art and fine art have performed better as the Deadwood calls her Mama Biz. That's not bad, actually.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty good because yeah, she is my baby mama as well, ×3, and we're very, very proud, very proud of our little people, our young people, not so young anymore, but
not so little anymore.
No,
one of them's taller than you.
Yeah, one of them's taller than me. Two of them are taller than her. Yeah.
That's not hard, though.
That's true. Yeah. As you will discover if you go to Decentral in Miami end of this month, or if you are in Miami for Art Week, speaking of fine art, we will be there all week going to various events, speaking at various events, mostly me on stage. Mrs. Mind Your Biz or Mama Biz will be there. That's a pretty great there, actually. But she'll be there as well at various networking events, mixers. We will be there meeting and greeting the MindBiz community and the broader NFT and DGen community, right? The Web3 and the hard money community as well. Bitcoiners, if you're there, we want to talk to you. Something that's kind of a disconnect between Web3 and the NFT collectors and the rest of cryptocurrency is not just this idea of sovereignty, but the idea of sound money. And I mean, Mama Biz and I, or Mrs. Mind Your Biz and I, we've been huge Ron Paulites since about 2006, and so for us, Bitcoin,
more 2008. I think that was really when.
That's when it got galvanized. 2006, though, we started to see it and we started to read up and understand it. It took a couple of years to be like, no, this guy is like absolutely brilliant, and he should be our president. But yeah,
we missed that one.
Yeah, we didn't make it happen. And then 2012, it was like that was really our last opportunity to not go down the path of a clown show. But yeah, there's a bit of a disconnect between these two sides of the cryptocurrency ecosystem. The pure degen, where it's like, there's some possible upside, there are potentially royalties, you can do upcharges, and it does feed that some of the best traits of capitalism and freedom orientation, right? Where it's like, no, if you want to paint a stick figure, you're going to draw a stick figure on a piece of paper, go out to the street corner and sell it for $5 million, that is your prerogative. And if somebody wants to pay you $5 million for it, that is their prerogative. No, you didn't cheat them. That is just capitalism. That's capitalism in a nutshell. You can take the bare wholesale products, and if there's a buyer willing to purchase them for more than your cost, and you have upside, right? You have profit, you are free to take that profit. Period. And when you say it's art, and you want to apply an additional fee, because it's art, the buyer will pay what they're willing to pay, and the market will bear what it's willing to bear. And anybody who says otherwise, it's like, okay, get with the program. Where have you been the last 1,000 years, right? Like, where have you been the last several hundred years, certainly, with the mercantile exchanges? Where have you been the last several hundred years with at least the British Empire, right? Like, bare minimum. And before that, right, the French Empire, as they were both relevant. These are principles of free markets that have existed for generations. So, like, that's true. But on the other side, you've got the problems of fiat, right? And so it's also true that we need sound money. And I think this is one of the few crypto households where we see, like, no, Bitcoin, it cures a lot of ills, but so do NFTs. Mm-hmm. And so do automatic royalties within NFTs. So there's no cognitive dissonance here in this home about the need for both of those things. And anybody who wants to get upset because it's like, oh, you're a shit coiner. Oh, you're giving a platform to all the wrong things because you're not talking about only Bitcoin. Just hold on. You're new here, if that's what you think. That's all that means. You just don't know yet. So the Deadwood says, you two could host a morning crypto and finance radio show. Great flow and knowledge to feed the world. That YouTube can't hold back. Hey, I appreciate that. And
thank you.
We've considered it, and maybe that is what we need to do, is make it a daily show. Is that what I'm hearing from the Mind Your Biz community?
Maybe a podcast?
We could do a podcast for sure, but here's the thing. Our audio production, clearly, at least as of today with this friggin' green screen, our audio production is typically on point. And it's our visuals right now that are like killing me. But we could do this, and we could publish as a podcast. We could do both. We could syndicate.
That would be fun.
We will become the Mind Your Biz Syndicate.
The Syndicate.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. Jumping back into the content, though. Opt-in royalties, it is a bit of an issue. But he says there's an opportunity to give rise to a new asset class. And this asset class will have special properties, but also have special trade-offs. It could enforce royalties at a high technological level. Wait, did he really repeat the word technological? Okay, he really meant it then. Those trade-offs would mean NFT creators could have some level of control, but in the talks Magic Eden had with creators and holders, they were willing to accept some of these trade-offs in order to ensure they could bring their business models to fruition. Well, that's an interesting point there. Sometimes a little bit of royalty and sometimes certainly a buyer's premium in the fine art world is negotiable, but it's sort of understood that there's some profit margin there. Very interesting. Hey, well, they do the infinite scroll here on Cointelegraph, but this is one of our articles. We were going to talk actually very next about Rolex, but before we do, tell me in the chat, would you be willing to trade NFTs if you knew that the royalties were non-negotiable? This is Mind Your Biz. What do you think? Mama
I
Biz?
would.
You would?
But, as, a daughter of an artist, daughter and son of artists, of course, yes, we understand that.
Right.
Yes.
And mom and dad, two artists now too. Yeah.
That's a big hell yeah.
Yeah, right, basically. And and we actually met in the arts, the performing arts, like, yeah, multivariate arts in the home. Like, yeah, but you could say we're fans, right? We've definitely put our money where our mouth is when it comes to the arts.
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately. And sometimes that's
fortunately
empty, right? Like mouths empty because hens were empty because the arts.
We call that feast and famine.
Yeah. So, yeah, I agree. No, royalties are pretty important. It is one of those ways that you ensure that lean times aren't as lean, and that when times are flush, they're just a little bit better. So, yeah, I think we're unanimous there. We think it's a good idea. But tell us in the chat, what do you think about that? Moving on. Next. What's our next headline here?
Trademark filings show Rolex is timing a metaverse play.
A metaverse play? What does that even mean?
They're going to do something in the metaverse?
Yeah, the metaverse. It's kind of an amorphous term, right? The metaverse. Where is it? What is it? Who's in it? What are they doing there? Why does it matter? Will grandma go there? I guess that's the big question. Will grandma go to the metaverse and be like, oh, Rolex, I love this?
I don't know if I'm the right person to ask this because I'm still trying to make sense of like, what is the metaverse? I am an IRL type of girl, so I am not one to think I'm just going to go spend time in digital space. That sounds like so much fun.
Right.
My children, on the other hand,
geez,
all about it.
Yeah, right. If we had 3 Oculus Quests, we would never see them again unless we joined them in the metaverse. Right. If we had 3 VR headsets, they'd be gone. That'd be it. And when we took them off, they'd be like sunken eyes, like all dark. It looked like a raccoon's like, yeah.
It would be a sad day.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, just give them little ocular digital implants now, because that's what they want.
Yeah. But to keep the main thing, I think, if you're a person for whom, I mean, if we're looking at, life moving in the direction of, say, the world of Ready Player One, and people are thinking about how they show their bling in the metaverse space, then yeah, who can afford that NFT Rolex? That Tiffany NFT, yeah.
Yeah, but how long before we start to see the knockoffs, right? Before you start to, like in the real world, right? We've been to Mexico together.
It happens.
Yeah, right? Like,
but knockoffs don't take away the value of the true blue, like Pradas and Gucci's of the world. So there's still there's still precedence there for there being a case for the digital NFT space for high end merchandise.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I definitely can see that. At the same time, we were talking about fine art not too long ago, and in the fine art ecosystem, it's like, I mean, it's something on the order of almost. I think I've heard it is nearly what? There we go. Drop that right there. Nearly 70% of fine art is fraudulent. Nearly 70%, totally fake.
Wow.
I know.
You didn't know that.
I didn't
a few
until
months
recently.
ago, did you? Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah, I got started. I mean, I got started developing a business plan with somebody, and they're like, "Oh, this is a really good idea." And it's like, "Whoa, wait. You mean we have to wade through 70% fake inventory?"
Man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, you see those movies where it's like, oh, look, and it was a fake, but it was so well done, they didn't know. And you're like, oh, I didn't know that could happen. And apparently, no, it happens like more than 50% of the time.
Yes, it happens more than 60% of the time. It
more
happens
than 65.
It's a lot of the time. I mean, technically, it's more than 2/3 of the time. 2/3 would be 66%.
Yikes.
70% minimum stuff is fake. So yeah, I'm a little worried by that. And when it comes to like collectibles like this, or like, this sort of like jewelry and such, how often are because I don't think we have good numbers on this. How often can a fake certificate of authenticity be produced that has Prada or Gucci or Louis Vuitton, or in this case, Rolex or whatever else, and the devices themselves, not that hard to fake. Not impossible.
Right.
Not impossible to get a fake and to assign it a fake serial number, or to duplicate the entire serialized line. If it's a limited edition of 500 units, you could reproduce all 100 or all 500, or you could reproduce up to 100. So it's like 20% of the supply is fake and people don't know.
Dang.
You wouldn't know. Most markets wouldn't sense that if 20% or so were fake.
But you were talking about, I mean, I guess like where the meat is there is in how you authenticate something and the things you put in place to do that. Yes?
Yeah. So, sorry, I'm like, my brain is so stressed right now.
Go to the comments, hon. Look at the comments.
Okay, I'll look at the comments.
It will soothe you.
We got the Deadwood saying, you two are way more enjoyable and knowledgeable than anything on the air out here in Portland. Remote broadcasting? Hey, it's a good idea. Remote broadcasting. We could do internet radio. That's and that is like we can multi-stream. We have the technology. We can rebuild the studio. So we could do remote radio as well. We could do internet radio. But their watch bubble just popped, so they're looking for more streams. And Nreal headsets look interesting for VR. Yeah, there's so many, right? And here's the thing: at the day job, we without talking about the specifics of it, I know that there are some campaigns at the marketing agency where I work that are being done for the Meta Corporation and the Quest headset. So it is possible that I can do some content there at work, so to speak. We can do some crossover content. But yeah, again, the concern is the moment I take one of those things home, bring one of the things home, and our kids see it, they're like, well, Dad gets to spend all day in the metaverse.
It's so bad. They're like, oh, I can be on my phone all day. That's work.
Yeah, because they see me like dealing with this. Slam my head against a friggin' brick wall trying to get this green screen to stop sucking.
Forget the green screen today, hun.
It's really got my goat.
It's a lost cause. Let it go.
Is it lost, though?
Let it go.
All right, jeez. So, yeah. Moving on. The apparently Rolex, with this trademark filing, they got plans for NFTs, NFT-backed media, NFT marketplaces, crypto keys and transactions, virtual good auctions, virtual and cryptocurrency exchanges and transfers. So basically, they're interested not only in their physical merchandise, but maybe in creating some kind of a system where they have, irrevocably embedded in their merchandise a link to an on-chain digital asset. It's pretty brilliant. If you control the means of producing the physical thing, then you can create limited edition items that do have more supply chain management built in on chain. So yeah, we talk about it, and I've been, I've kind of like expressed my doubts about that in years past. And it's one thing when you have a third party doing it and saying like, oh, we're going to do supply chain for the entire world, and we're going to use Ethereum, or we're going to use this other network. We're going to make our own network. It's a very different thing when you have the company that produces the goods saying, oh yeah, well, blockchain is kind of trivial now in a way. Like, it's established. Bitcoin is, did you know it turned 14 years old?
Yes.
Yeah. So
just on Halloween?
Bitcoin is a teenager. Yeah.
Oh.
I know, it's weird. So weird. They grow up so fast.
Well, 14. Bitcoin has been a teenager for a year.
Yeah. I still think of 13 as a tween. I know it's not technically true, but I think of boys.
It's got the teen in there.
I think of boys, but Bitcoin's probably a girl because, Bitcoin's been bleeding for 5 months straight. Anyway, just saying. And it's still not dead. Anyway, so.
Watch it.
I know. I guys, I'm in trouble. Anyway, just saying. Yeah, so you're probably right. Probably hit teenager status at 13, not 14.
Did you just say I'm right?
Yeah, I just said you're right.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. So just saying, the blockchain is not the issue for these guys, right? They're like, okay, what we need is really solid supply chain management, IRL. Right? That's the biggest problem when it comes to trying to tokenize anything and put it on chain, is being able to control the original physical product tightly enough that that the links to the chain or the blockchain are really hard to sever. Because if not, then you've got both the Oracle problem, getting good data onto the chain, and you've got the supply chain problem of just being able to say like, oh, I just took my watch off to take a look at it while I'm on a yacht, and I dropped into the ocean by accident.
No.
It happens, right? Like, that's very real. You heard me talk the last time we were on a yacht. Mrs. Minor, I'm going to do a little humble brag here. Last time we were on a yacht, I was worried about dropping my laptop into the ocean because it was like, like careful getting on and off this yacht. Like, if you drop anything into the ocean, it's gone. That's just how that works.
Goodbye.
Yeah, like I'm not going to go diving for my laptop where it's like, yeah, it's salt water. No, it's just toast. Right? It's just gone. So like, yeah, this is a very real problem in the cryptocurrency and blockchain and supply chain on blockchain ecosystem. So for them to be filing for trademarks, probably bullish. Yeah, I don't think that it shows that they definitely have their own blockchain in mind, but that they're curious about creating the exchanges and creating some of the other infrastructure. So I think that's smart. Another headline from Finbold along those same lines. What do we got here?
Luxury watchmaker Rolex enters metaverse with crypto and NFT trademark applications.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? These are. Yeah.
I think we've talked this one.
We totally have.
Yeah.
But hey, that's kind of cool. Here's the actual trademark application. I kind of like seeing that. We can now take a closer look at just the application itself. That is a nicer thing to have on screen. Just saying. If you wanted to see just the trademark application, there it is. But yeah, second to last article of the day. I think this is second to last article of the day. We've got 50,000 Bitcoin seized after a criminal called the police on himself. Yo, numbnuts. You don't call the cops on yourself. I just wanted to make that clear. That's one of those. It's sort of a moral imperative. If you're doing crime, don't call the cops.
Are you saying he shouldn't have had a crisis of conscience and done the right thing?
I don't know that it was the right thing.
Was it not? But did he steal it? Wasn't it the right thing to give
back
what you stole?
Did he steal it from a thief? Was he like Robin Hood?
I don't know.
Was it going to go into the free market and help some mom and pop people? Was it going to go and help middle America raise themselves up by the bootstraps and improve their quality of life?
This is some very strange rationalization.
I know. But at the same time, do you really want the U.S. government to control those Bitcoin?
Well, no.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. those are the ramifications. I wish this guy had thought about it
I
a
don't
little
think
bit
it was
more.
originally the U.S. government's Bitcoin, so
It wasn't.
but it is now.
And
Oh,
and unfortunately, I think that with this most recent seizure, it actually makes Bitcoin. It makes the U.S. government the largest Bitcoin whale.
it is. Yeah, that was in another article that it's this next one, right?
Yeah, largest. Yeah, there you go.
U.S. government now has more BTC than largest crypto holders. That's what that did.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit upset. A man from unlawfully obtained more than 50,000 Bitcoins from the Silk Road dark web internet marketplace in 2012. Oh my gosh.
There's got to be more to this story.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just called in and turned himself in.
Yeah.
What?
This doesn't seem real at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like totally a false headline. So, Mind Your Biz community, tell us in the chat what would you do if you knew that you had unlawfully obtained 50,000 Bitcoin from a marketplace that then got shut down? Or if your Ether wallet was one of your brand new Ether wallets was the recipient of $1 billion worth of something on that's run through Tornado Cash. Would you feel like, you know what? I really have to give this to the federal government. They deserve it.
It doesn't sound like a straight story. It smells fishy.
Agreed. Yeah, I don't believe this.
And we do not endorse theft on this channel. Maybe we should just put that little disclaimer out there. We're talking a lot in hypotheticals here because in this household we do not believe in stealing. And we do not teach our children to steal, right?
Right. Definitely. Don't steal.
Sad.
Just saying. So, yeah, moving on, guys. We've got some portfolio news. Let's take a quick look at our GPU mining portfolio. Caspa, after we've created a proper entry into the portfolio here, is dominant. But that's because we have an entry point of the day zero launch. If you remember our methodology for how we add any of our holdings into this paper tracker, that's why. But even still, if you were able to mine it or if you were able to acquire $1,000 worth of it on day one, then you are up by almost 2,000% still. It has taken the lead from our beloved Flux, but even Flux is up by 300%, and Flux was already a mature asset, so it was possible for you to actually take a position of $1,000 worth of Flux when we made this portfolio entry. So kind of cool there. Just know that if you were an early adopter of Flux or Neoxa or Caspa, you're still in the money. And especially if with Flux, if you were an early miner or an early investor in that portfolio or in that ecosystem, you're probably doing even better than 300% up. This is almost a bad case, worst case scenario for Flux, best case scenario, like best possible case scenario for Caspa and Neoxa. Just keep that in mind. Let's jump ahead to some of our other items here. The junk drawer. I've added one new asset. Let's see if you can spot it before I do, with my memory kind of like basically going off the rails today. And that is Gold Retriever. Gold Retriever is a brand newly launched asset. And I did an article, or did not an article, I did a whiteboard video about it. Take a look at it over on Mind Your Biz. It just explains a little bit about the fundamentals. It's down pretty intensely from yesterday. So it has had a pullback, but if you want to learn more about it, that's why it's in this side of the portfolio. We still need to put a proper $1,000 into it at its earliest possible acquisition point, because we don't have a full year of market data about this asset. We'll do that after the stream. Just know I've added it to the stream, and I'll be doing all of these additional assets, right? Caspa, Cult, the original Quick Swap, Maximus DAO, Fame, and others. Be adding that $1,000 entry, including Voltinium, right, which looks very manipulated on the chart. $1,000 entry into all of those after we finish streaming today, so that we have all of these portfolios completely, the way they should be. We can actually track their performance. I think we need to be doing a dollar cost average into those assets as well, so you can see a little bit more clearly what those look like over time. We've been streaming for about an hour and 20 minutes. Any additional questions that you have for me, save those. We'll be doing some additional, probably this portfolio when we fully export it and show kind of what we think are our best picks. And the mining profitability calculator, those will be only for the tight-knit community, so just be aware that might be a Patreon exclusive, or that might be a newsletter exclusive. just stay on your toes. And if you're going to Decentral, if you're going to be in Miami for the week of Decentral and Art Basel, check out the link in the description of this video. It would mean a lot to me if you feel like you're going to go and you want to purchase any ticket, not VIP, but any general admission ticket, that you use my link. The proceeds, if there are any from your purchase, where do they go, Ms. Mighty Biz?
It says Habitat for Humanity.
Habitat for Humanity. We're not taking any kind of an affiliate fee at all for those ticket sales. Those are going to Habitat for Humanity. And if we hit the #1 spot for fundraising, the organizers of Decentral will match that contribution going to Habitat for Humanity. That's our chosen charity. Others wanted to, do like Satoshi or some legal fund. I thought that right now, especially the markets being the way they're being, people falling on hard times, that we definitely need to take care of people, right? People first. So it's near and dear to my heart. I've actually swung hammers and put on roofs and done drywall at Habitat for Humanity when I had some spare time. It's been a number of years, but it's a charity that I feel very good about. So that's why we're operating that way. And if you're not going to Decentral, but you're just going to be in Miami or in the South Florida area, the Miami-Dade area, end of this month and early December, hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Telegram, hit me up wherever, and let's spend some time IRL. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face. Remember to stay private and mind your biz. We don't have an end screen on this new OBS.
Oh no.
We just have to sit here for 20 seconds.
Okay. 1, 2. Should we count?